I'm very pleased to introduce someone who I have had the pleasure of working with before, and I know many of you have as well. She's, I know, very interested in this issue. She has a few levees in her district. So please help me welcome Senator Betsy Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On the eve of a hip surgery, I'm going to remain seated, even though I can't see some of you guys over there in the corner after the schlep from the parking garage. I know that this event is primarily focused on Mr. Shapiro's presentation, and I am very eager to hear about the success stories that he has been part of with both accreditation and certification of dikes and levees through collaborative project management strategies, and so we're very pleased that he's here. I want to say a couple of things about Oregon Solutions. How many of you are familiar with Oregon Solutions? Great. Well, the Oregon Solutions was established back in 2001 to really help communities solve problems collaboratively. And by way of establishing my bona fides to speak about it, I have been a beneficiary of a problem-solving methodology that involved Oregon Solutions. Tony Hyde is somewhere in the room. Tony knows that out in Columbia County, we did 2 decades of the gravel wars. We were locked in combat with a big multinational gravel company trying to decide the future of an industrial site near Scappoose. And after 2 decades of pounding away on each other with litigation, we were finally convened in an Oregon Solutions process and not only got a scalable and exportable solution, resolved our litigation, but the durability of the fix has endured. And at one point in time, the gravel industry had pronounced me the greatest single enemy to their industry in Oregon, and a couple of years ago, I got the OCAPA Legislator of the Year award. I think it's testimony to a process that works. Oregon Solutions brings together public entities, academia, private, the business sector, and sets the table with people that may not necessarily find common ground at the outset. We have very successfully used Portland State as our neutral convener, able to come in, assess whether a community can get to yes. And so not only have I been a beneficiary, I've been a donor, a legislator, a convener on successful projects, and one not so successful one because we hadn't done our base work. And then a project member, probably one of the most long-lasting projects, because we're still not done with it. But under Oregon Solutions, we rebuilt 3 schools in Vernonia after devastating floods, hi Tim, and raised $40 million to do it. And those schools are better in reality than they were in my imagination. I completely credit Oregon Solutions with setting the architecture where we could not only pick the sites, design the buildings, do the work necessary to raise the money, and involve the community at every step along the way. Oregon has a huge system of dikes and levees. Commissioner Tim Josie just walked in, and if you think, from Tillamook, if you think about Northwest Oregon, you can only imagine how much of Northwest Oregon that is my legislative district resides behind water management devices, including Sauvie's Island. I think Sauvie's Island has 14 or 18 lineal miles of dike. I had a constituent move out there not terribly long ago and bought a very expensive house and opined to me if he could just knock down that berm, he'd have a really good view of Mount St. Helens. And it's like, holy shit, it's the dike. So anyway, dike and levee and water management issues loom large in my district. I was thrilled when a skillful Oregon Solutions old hand like Steve took on this assignment in the context of Portland, if for no other reason than it has brought up urban Oregon's knowledge of what all needs to happen. And I'm pleased to say, unless something's changed, that Speaker Kotek is going to be a champion of legislation that we're taking a look at with the help of Oregon Business Development Department in trying to figure out how do we help whatever the legal entity is that's dealing with a dike or a levee. And I want to use this forum just before I conclude to thank the people that have reached out to me already. We have legislation developed. It's being circulated in a kind of limited way right now. And please, if you want a copy of it, There's a sign-up sheet out there. Just let people know. I think the email addresses are out there. We can send it to Steve, and Steve can disseminate it. It remains a work in progress, and there are things, nuances that we're going to get wrong. I got a call earlier today yesterday from the Scappoose Drainage Improvement District wanting to make sure that we got the proper legal definition in the bill. Hi, Lynn. I'm talking about our bill. This is Lynn Chesler. This is the guy that's working this bill harder than anybody else from the Infrastructure Finance Authority and Oregon Business Development Department, and he's really the hero behind the legislation that will come with a lot of names on it, but Lynn was really the guardian angel. So as we're putting together this legislation, we welcome your advice, your consultation, your corrective criticism, and we'll make sure that we get it into people's hands so that we get the nuances. Mr. Landauer reached out to me earlier today. Multnomah apparently is interested in doing some kind of bill that addresses some problems that they have, being a district within a very urbanized area. My advice to this group as we move forward into the political arena is let's try to keep the bill as constrained as possible, have one bill so we don't confuse a lot of people. The big problem is attaching the requisite money to it. So I think we'll have plenty of opportunity to talk about that. But I just want to thank all of you for coming. I know that Portland State reached out to try to get the largest representative body here possible, both to help define the problem, which is one of the hallmarks of Oregon Solutions, figure out how we collectively work on it together, and then move forward into a legislative session that is going to face a number of challenges. But if ultimately our effort to improve dikes and levees in the certification and accreditation process, if it is going to work, we've got to have financial wind under our wings, and we'll be calling on all of you to help reach out to your own legislators to help bring up their level of knowledge about what the problems are, and then to help advance this bill and to prioritize funding to resolve these problems above other things, frankly. Budgets are about priorities, and I hope that this issue remains very close to the top of the legislature's priority list. So Steve, thank you. Mr. Shapiro, thank you for joining us today. We're going to all benefit from your guidance and wisdom. And with that, again, thanks, and please weigh in on the legislation. Your input can only help make it better and stronger. Thank you.